before the pyramids of Egypt, before the philosophers of Greece, before the Caesars of Rome. There was Sumer, a forgotten civilization that rose from the mud and riverbanks, gave the world its first cities, its first writing system, its first laws, and then disappeared. In this journey, we uncover who the Sumerians were, how they lived, traded, ruled, loved, and warred. From gods and kings to conquests and collapse, this is the untold story of the first human civilization. Mesopotamia, land between rivers. Nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates, this fertile crescent birthed more than crops. It birthed civilization. By 6000 BC, farming villages appeared, relying on irrigation and flood management. Eridu became the first city, soon followed by Uruk and Ur. As settlements grew, so did complexity. By 3000 BC, city-states with populations in the tens of thousands had emerged, each with its own god, government, and identity. Sumer was never unified. It was a patchwork of fiercely independent city-states: Uruk, Lagash, Eridu, Kish. At the top stood the Lugal, big man or king, both priest and general. Power was believed to come from the gods, with kings acting as divine agents on earth. Law was not arbitrary. The Code of Ur-Nammu, predating Hammurabi, set punishments for crimes and established justice. But peace was rare. Lagash and Umma clashed over farmland, leading to decades of war, divine curses, and bloodshed. The Sumerians believed the universe was ruled by a pantheon of gods. Anu reigned in the heavens. Enlil controlled the air and fate. Inanna, goddess of love and war, was unpredictable and fierce. Each city was sacred to a patron deity. Temples, especially towering ziggurats, dominated the skylines. Priests maintained divine order. Rituals, offerings, and festivals were constant. Myths explained the world, from creation to floods to the afterlife, grim and silent. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest surviving literary work, tells of grief, mortality, and the futile search for eternal life. Sumerian life was complex and organized. They invented cuneiform writing, used base 60 math, created the wheel, and tracked celestial cycles. Children attended scribal schools. Women could own property. Families recorded business deals on clay tablets. Their art showed humans and gods side by side. Their music, played on lyres and flutes, accompanied rituals and feasts. Most were farmers or craftsmen. Urban life was buzzing with merchants, potters, brewers, priests, and slaves. Despite their isolation, the Sumerians were not alone. They traded extensively with Elam, Anatolia, the Indus Valley, and Dilmun. Imports: tin, copper, cedar, lapis lazuli, gold. Exports: grain, wool, textiles, pottery, tools. Temples often acted as economic hubs, managing large-scale trade operations and temple workers. Trade agreements were recorded. Diplomacy was practiced. This was an ancient globalized economy in its infancy. With prosperity came conflict. City-states clashed regularly. Wars were brutal, often portrayed as divine will. War standards from Ur show organized infantry, chariots, and prisoners paraded in chains. The king was often the general. Conquest expanded territory but also invited rebellion. Fortified walls, strategic canals, and defensive ramparts were common. Victory was marked by rituals, offerings to gods, and public displays of defeated enemies. Sumerian society was hierarchical. Nobles and priests at the top, artisans and scribes in the middle, farmers and slaves at the bottom. Slavery was common, often due to debt, war, or punishment. But some could buy freedom. Women, though not equal, had rights in trade, property, and legal disputes, rare for ancient cultures. Justice was swift. Contracts were binding. Property was sacred. Over time, Sumerian bloodlines and culture blended with others. Intermarriages with Akkadians, Semitic-speaking neighbors, led to a fusion of languages, beliefs, and customs. Elamites and Amorites also intermingled. Sumerian identity slowly diluted but spread widely. Akkadian became the spoken language, while Sumerian persisted in sacred and scholarly use. This cultural fusion seeded the rise of future empires. By 2000 BC, Sumer was fading. Environmental shifts, salinized soil, and repeated wars weakened its cities. Invasion by the Elamites and rise of Akkad under Sargon the Great brought the end of Sumerian dominance, but their legacy endured. Babylon adopted their writing, myths, and laws. The Old Testament echoes their stories. Their innovations laid the foundation for civilization itself. The Sumerians are gone. Their ziggurats buried, their cities ruined, but their legacy lives on. In the way we write, rule, count, trade, and believe. They were the first to ask, what is justice? What is love? What happens after death? They may be forgotten by many, but without them, there would be no us. Subscribe to uncover more stories of ancient power, forgotten empires, and civilizations that